Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we will be focusing on how to create the eye shader for the Emily character. You can get the source files from the USC Institute where you can download at the bottom. You can download all the source files I'm using. They provide you with lots of diffuse for the skin, and they will also give you a bump and a diffuse color for the iris, which I will be using. And if I also created a tutorial on how to create the skin. If you want to have a look at that, it is MtoA 110 series, how to create a detailed skin shader, and it is using alSurface shaders, which you can get by going to this web page, and you can download the shaders there if you want to. If not, you can do the same or similar effect using the AI skin shader, which ships with Arnold. So we will be creating these two, or it's actually the same shader, it's just a different environment. So on the right it is a studio environment, on the left it is more like an outdoor one. And I just want to show you before we start how or what you will be achieving following this tutorial. So in Maya I have the scanned cornea and eyeball from the digital Emily, which is this one on the left. So you would expect that it's perfect round, but it is more oval, and you can actually see that the insides are also theirs, like this, which is the iris. This is the cornea. And on the right, this is just a sphere I quickly modeled just to show you if you don't want to do or don't want to download the models, you can actually create a sphere, and this is kind of the same thing I just quickly did. And I want to show you two approaches on creating this. One is procedurally, which won't be as nice, to be honest. So for eyes, you always will need maps, like proper diffuse maps or bump maps. So the first thing, I want to concentrate on the cornea, which is the outer part, the shiny and the refractive part of the eye. So I'm not sure if it's anatomically correct what I'm doing, but in my experience, I used the sphere is mostly the eye white, and the top is like the glass cap on top of the eye whites. So to do that, let's just first create an alSurface. Again, it's always a good habit to name your shaders properly, so you always know what they belong to. So I just call this AL training cornea, and I won't do this now for all at once just because to save some time for you guys. So assigning this I will work for the most part on the scanned model. So this is now the cornea with the alSurface shader, and let's for now hide the other one, so we focus on one only. Saving, and the first thing I want to do is connect a ramp to the diffuse color, because the top or the front part of the eye, this part here, is glass. We don't want diffuse color for this, so I'll just create a ramp, and this ramp plugs into the diffuse color, diffuse strength actually. So no 4 in here. So the alt color R goes in diffuse strength. If you quickly want to find attributes, you can actually search in here, and then it filters your whatever is in your attributes in here. So anyways, starting the IPR now, we'll see IPR and progressive. Okay, so this is what we currently have. And I like to first disable all the fancy shading stuff, so no specs. And obviously we want diffuse for now because we want to adjust the ramp, which is, if I check the eye set selected, currently looking like this, where you have a fall off at the back, and we want to have the fall off or the black parts in the front. So let's see what we got. And shaded mode, let's just give us a little bit of color so we actually see what we're doing. And I want to get only the front part should be dark, so only this smaller area there. So to do this, I will do something like this, change the mode to smooth so we get a nicer transition. Okay, so let's just see. I will possibly tweak them the way we go, but this is currently what I think is good. Okay, so no diffuse in the front, only in the back. And the next thing, what I want to do is connect the same map, only inverted, into the transmission slot, which is refraction in the AI standard. So the refraction, because we only want to have glass in the front, we need to map this with the strength. So whatever is white is transmissive. So in this case, we need to invert the ramp. So I'll just create an AL remap float, and I will switch the out values. So output min is 1 and output max is 0, so it's inverted. And then the out R goes in input, and the spec 2, if I have transmission strength, there we go, goes into that slot. So if you want to check isolate selected again, this is now inverted, and this one pipes into the transmission. So the next thing you need to do for the eye or for the cornea is to go to the shape of the mesh, go to Arnold and disable opaque, which means that it will get transmissive shadow. So it is not a fully one colored shadow anymore. And then you get actually some refraction. So we see the inner part, which I first want to hide for now so we don't get too confused. So this is now the sphere. I guess with in the refraction it is linked to specular 1, which we don't want, so disable this. We don't want any roughness for the refraction, and for this specular 1 we don't want any roughness as well. So I just enabled the specular highlights, and I will change the distribution to be GGX. I will update this scene, and we still get something weird happening. It looks like it is just refracting the inside of this, so this is why it looks like this currently, because we don't have any insides. Okay, but let's not focus on this for now. Let's get in the diffuse textures. So I've imported them already somewhere. Where are they? Image. I think it should be these guys. These are my textures. So this one is the outer color. This is the outer bump. So this is the tool we will need for now. Okay, before we plug in the color directly, I want to create an AL remap in front. So this one goes here, so we can do quick adjustments. So this one goes into color, and this one connects to the bump. So all I'm doing is going to the bump and middle mouse dragging the texture into the bump slot, which will create the bump 2D node. And for now, I will just disable the strength. It is just connected for now. And I will unhide the insides, this guy, and I will just create another shader quickly, make it black, so we don't see the white insides anymore. This is called AL training, and then iris, if I can again spell. Oops, not delete, only this. Select the inner and assign. Okay, so making a black Lambert is just no diffuse and no spec. So this is now should be black. Alright, let's start IPR again. This time the outer color diffuse is already connected. So let's see how this looks. Pretty ugly, to be honest. So this is what it looks. If I go to isolate mode, you can see what the texture looks like. This is my outside color. Oh, this is what the USC provided us with a diffuse color. It might be a bit too red overall, so we can maybe adjust it a bit using some contrast and desaturation maybe, just to make it a bit more white. And I don't know, it looks very gross actually, but this is how the eye looks like. I think that the ramp is too big actually, so I will just adjust it here, opening this guy, making this a bit more narrow, something like this. So this is actually where the edge is of the eye, and this should be a bit smoother, this transition. Yeah, I think something like this, and this is better. So the actual mesh of the eye will go over here, so you won't see this red anyways. Okay, bringing back or changing the shader of the iris just to get something. This is now what the eye looks like. So you can see it is behaving correctly. The refraction is behaving really nice. This is from the front. You get this shadowing effect, which is also you get from the real eye. And the first thing I want to do is now slowly bring in the bump, which the texture, raw texture, looks like this. So what we first want to do is we want to remove all the bump from the front, because the glass part or the cornea part of the eye is actually really flat, and so if it would be bumpy like this, you actually would see possibly nothing at all or very blurry. So first I want to create an AL remap float. And let's see, we need the white, we won't need the inverted one. Let's just think. We need this as a mask. So this out value goes into the mask of my remap float. And the bump out R goes into the input of the float. And then the out value goes to the bump value. So what I did now was connecting the bump texture into my remap. And the remap goes back into the bump shader. But I have also connected the ramp into the mask slot of the remap, so I can grade the inside of the eye. So this is what I can do now. So I'm just really slowly grading this to be one color. And I think if you put it to 0.5, the max value is 0.5. You can go to Windows status bar and display pixel, and then you can see the pixel information in the bottom. So the values are now at 0.1. I want to have them globally both at 0.5, so it is no bump, and we get a soft transition here from fully extruded and to a neutral zone. So let's see. Let's see if this did work if I bring in some bump. Okay, you can definitely see that we have a bump map now. And if we check from the side, the eye from the side, we can see that the bump map fades out around here, which is exactly what we want. So we get a pretty nice fall off, bump fades out, and we just have the clear, super clean cornea part. The next thing is I want to enable subsurface scattering, because the eyeball is like a really white and soft tissue. It absorbs lots of light. So if I enable subsurface scattering, we actually the bump map shouldn't be as strong anymore, because the SSS absorbs the edge detail. So going back to the cornea and enabling SSS, and also changing the mode to be empirical, which is a bit cleaner, you can directly see that the bump map is not visually as strong anymore. You can see in the top, if I render this area, you see that all these black lines like fade out. It still overall might be too strong still, but it is definitely looking better. So all I want to do now is just maybe put this to 3.5, so it's, I don't know, 20% less. And this would cover the cornea part of the eye. And the next thing we got to do is do some shading of the iris. So to do this, we also got two maps, which is the iris color and the iris bump, which is essentially the same maps, like you plug them in the same way. So the out color goes into the fuse color of the iris, and the bump goes into the bump slot, which is at the bottom of the shader. And this automatically creates a bump 2D node. Okay, so let's see. Bump 2D. Also want to add an AL remap color in between, just if there's need to color correct the eye texture or the iris texture. So this one connects there. Okay, saving and starting IPR. For now, I will just hide the auto part IPR. Okay, so this is what the iris looks like with the provided texture from the USC Institute. We don't see this red part, and we only see this area around here, so never mind that it is like texture too big, doesn't matter. So first I want to increase the exposure of the texture so we see a bit more detail. The bump is possibly too strong, so let's just try 0.25. More subtle bump now, and this is now what you want to create. So if you want to have a brown eye, you get a brown-eyed iris texture. So what you can do, you can go to Google and you go to iris texture close-up or something like that, and you get lots of images of high-quality iris textures. Search tools. You can even go to search tools and change the size to be larger than 2K or something, or 2 megapixels. And then you get really nice stuff where you have very good reference, or you can even use them directly as textures. All you gotta do though is paint out the reflections so you don't get baked in stuff like that. For instance, this one would work. You could try using this, but for this tutorial, I'm just using what they provided us. You can, if you want, you can actually do a hue shift, but it will look bad, so never mind. Just keep it on the original one. Play maybe with some contrast, some gamma. Let's see. Or just leave it at all, never mind. And then you can go to specular, bring in some reflections, make them rougher. They are in real life hardly visible that there is actually anything on it, so we can make it really rough. Something like this. It's just that there is some, on the edge cases, you just see a bit more light emitting from this. Also, the iris has subsurface scattering. Let's just see if we enable this empirical as well. All that bump detail, or lots of the bump detail disappears because of the subsurface scattering, which makes it a bit smoother everything. So then you can increase the exposure to make the texture still a bit brighter. And if we bring all together now, let's see what we got. All right, so this would be now the result of this eye shader. You get the nice cornea with the super reflections. This is with the outside is with bump, the inside is without, and then you get the iris inside. So let's see how this looks if we bring back the character. Okay, I did offset them, so let's see if we can get them to the proper position. Is this the one? Nope. Let's see. Did I just move them? That would be unfortunate. Okay, let's just try to position them inside the eye as good as I can. Let's see. Okay, so all right, it might be good enough just to show you what you actually see. So this would be everything you see from the eye. So unfortunately, I don't have the skin shader from the previous tutorial, but this is actually a very good reference to see how much you actually see of the eye compared to its actual size. So this is my tutorial on how to create realistic eyes using provided textures. The workflow is similar to cartoon eyes because you need to create the cornea as well, like the glass in the front, and then you just have an iris texture. So I have prepared this other sphere, which is this one. Let's just hide the geo part. So this guy is essentially the same thing, but I don't have any textures for this. So this would be more a a cartoony way of doing this. It will never look as good, to be honest, because we don't get the nice veins on the cornea and stuff. So, but I will try anyways, and I will create a new alSurface quickly. This was actually not the proper tutorial. I'll just do it just to show you a different way of doing things. So this is the cornea, and again ramp texture, which plugs into the diffuse. It's the same way, or it's the same way I would do it. So this one would plug into out color R, it goes to diffuse strength, and then we create an AL float, which is the invert of this input. So now we have accidentally a mask. Okay, so this one goes to transmission strength, which is inverted. Which is inverted here. So we got transmission, we got texture, and we create another ramp, which will be the color of the eye. So this one goes out color, goes to diffuse color. Okay, let's see what we have. Arnold IPR. And for now, go to the shader and no spec. Okay. So first of all, let's work on this one. So the center part is the front, and which should be white, and this part is a red color. So this is something like this we need for the eye. Just a really slight fall off. I'll try to add some noise later on. Okay, so the next one is this ramp, which is the same as we did before. Front is black. Then we do something like this. Do this, put this on smooth. Okay, so now no diffuse in the front, which is correct. Looks like this. And this one goes to transmission, which is enabled. I don't want to link this to that. Bringing back this specular one and changing it to be GDX. So this is the first thing. And we also need to do the opaque switch again, so we get the inside. All right, so this is the first thing. And now let's work on the iris quickly. And the iris will get a new shader, alSurface, selecting and assigning. And for the diffuse color, now this is the tricky part. You would need to do this with a noise, and to be honest, I don't even know if there's a good noise to do this. So we will be trying things out. I did not test this workflow before, so it might be really crappy, or it might look okay. We will see. Out color goes to the diffuse color, and this one, let's just try to connect this noise into the this whatever this is, this position, so you can actually put in a texture in this color. So here's a texture now, and we duplicate the noise, and we plug this into the white texture. So it looks as if both are black now, but they actually are noises, which we can use to create some distinct effects, I guess. We'll see how this looks. Arnold IPR. Again, Arnold IPR, there we go. All right. So it does not look like anything, but let's just increase the repetitions. 50. Okay, 50 might be too strong. Let's just try 1 here. 3, 20, 20, 20. Okay, what does the RAM do now? So we can actually, we should be able to fade them. Not sure why we don't see this effect. So the second noise is, let's say, 100. Weirdly, we don't see this effect now. We just see the one or the other. Maybe I just messed up. So here you can see something is happening. Radial, circular. Anyways, let's just go back to VRAMP and see what we can do without anything connected and just see what we would get now. See, we don't see anything. Let's just try again, updating. Okay. Alright, so this is the front part. So let's introduce some noise, something like this, and increase the frequency. Increase even more. Lots of noise now. Okay, this should kind of mimic the texture of the iris. Obviously, it's not as good looking as I intended to, but you can see kind of the streaks appearing if you introduce this noise. And hopefully, all we got to do now is plug in those noises in here, and it should work well. We'll see now. So if I plug this now into the first one, which is the whites of the ramp, let's just see what we get then. Okay, now it does actually work. So we see the noise inside of this. And now what you got to do is use the AL remap color and plug this into here. This is just another workflow which might look nice or might not look nice, but you can try different things. Plugging this into the color and now using this one as a base color for the eye. Let's say we want blue eyes, like so. And the other one is, let's see, let's just create another AL remap color. And this one plugs into the second position, like so. And this is a different blue, I think. Let's just try. Maybe darker. Yeah, it does actually look really bad. Anyway, so it's hard to do procedurally or without testing it in front beforehand, which I did not do, to get something good looking. But just let's see if I bring this one back in. Arnold IPR. Yeah, so this looks not really too good. So ideally you would get a texture quickly from the internet. Let's just, yeah, this has the information in it. For this tutorial, let's just grab something. What is it? Let's just grab this one. Yeah, let's just grab this one. Okay, so I'm just saving this image. Save image to work, training, source images, iris, there we go. Go back to Maya and load in an AI image. Get the texture, source images. There you go. And this one is now the diffuse color. out color, diffuse color. And now we need to position this, I guess. So I am not sure where we are on the UV space. Let's just offset. Possibly we need to do something else as well. Iris, we want to do a projection in Z, UV, do a planar projection from Z, project, there we go. And now we should be able to see something. There we go. So now just positioning it again. So, and scaling this down. 2.2. Let's just try 1.25. Okay, let's position this. Yeah, now you see you need to paint it properly, so it's not too easy to align this now correctly. Okay, let's bring back the eye, the cornea. It does not fit. Anyways, you would do it properly, I hope, and yeah, that's why it looks so crappy now. And it does not fit the eye properly. Okay, there you go. So this would be now your quick and dirty eye shader without proper textures, but you can see you can get a result which is more or less good looking relatively fast. So all you need to do is have the setup correct, that the outer part is, or the front part of the cornea is glass, or like a glass shader, and the rest is a soft bump map shader or subsurface shader. So bringing back the proper one and just hiding the head, you can see the results from the properly textured one to the quick and dirty solution I just showed you. So in the end, you will be creating something like this using those Emily resources. But the key of creating realistic eyes is having nice detail for the veins on the cornea, and the proper anatomically way to create this glass in the front using a ramp, so you have a proper transmission effect. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you did learn something how to create more realistic eyes. And thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, always support me by liking the video and sharing it on your social networks. And as always, happy rendering.